Hang on a minute. 1 second. Yeah, so to start with, we have the unfortunate news that, oh God, of course, it would help if I shared my screen. That would be helpful.
Come on, this is not a corporate Teams meeting. Get it together.
So I've just noticed that YouTube isn't broadcasting it, so I'm just making it. There we are. We're live now. Woohoo! That was a bit of a strange one. So yeah, to start off with, we had some unfortunate news.
You're still not sharing your screen. Come on, boy.
Sorry, finding my links. Yeah, so start with the unfortunate news that we lost Sam Keith at the start of the year. The artist passed away at the age of 63 due to Lewy body dementia and is survived by his wife Kathy, to which we offer our deepest condolences. He was
all the ways.
He was
all the ways for creative to go.
Yeah.
Lewy body disorder is just absolute nightmare fuel.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, he was one of the most unique artists out there, and I doubt we'll see another one like him anytime soon, at least. I mean, I've got memories of reading The Max and seeing that ultra weird TV show that MTV did. I mean, what about you guys?
Oh, again, yeah, I remember seeing, his Sandman art, and yeah, he had a very iconic style. So
I didn't get to see the show because I only had 3 channels, and MTV was on channel 10, which my sound didn't get.
But yeah, rest in peace. Commiserations to those who knew him. And it was also interesting to note that various signed items of his on eBay suddenly shot up in price, which is which is one thing that absolutely pissed me off when I see stuff like that. But such is the life here. Right, on to one of the main stories come up of the year, and it's kind of a story in multiple parts, but it all featured Spider-Man. So where's this bloody clip? I've got so many clips to cycle through to find the one I want. For God's sake. Come on, where are you? There we are. Right. This will get easier as we get along. Right. So this video did the rounds on Twitter, and I will play the whole clip for you. It's just under 2 minutes, but it's a clip from, I think, a Red Letter podcast.
Do you want to know the pain of being a comic book fan? do you want to know the pain?
That they never ends?
Yeah. I mean, they need to. They need to, for one. They had the big 400th issue of The Amazing Spider-Man.
I've got that.
Aunt May on her deathbed reveals that she knew he was Spider-Man.
Okay.
And she approved of it. But then Marvel wanted to bring Aunt May back. So they said the Aunt May that died was an actress put there by Norman Osborn. And then the real Aunt May was taken by the Green Goblin, and she was in suspended animation.
Oh, God.
And now she doesn't know he was Spider-Man, but Aunt May is back.
See, this is why when I talk about like the recent crop of MCU movies where it's like, oh, they're bringing back Steve Rogers. Like he had a nice send-off in Avengers Endgame. They're bringing back all these characters. And if you complain about this, people are like, well, that's what comic books do all the time. It's like, that doesn't make it good.
Well, it's okay then. Years later, another author, J.M. Straczynski, who's done mostly stuff outside of comics, did like Babylon 5 and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
He was a writer for a while. He actually had Aunt May discover that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. We did a lot with that. He made her a good supporting character. But then Marvel decided they didn't like that, so they had Spider-Man sell his marriage to the devil. So everyone would forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Like the devil?
Comic books suck, Jeff. That was literally when I stopped reading comics. Like all comics, I got to there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's fair.
Fuck you, Joe Quesada.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah.
He's not even out of line when it comes to Joe Quesada. Jesus.
Yeah. So I was not a fan of One More Day, and obviously a lot of other people weren't. And Quesada, as if in response, published this article on his Substack, where he talked about his worst day at Marvel, and he didn't address One More Day, but it was literally peppered with artwork from it, and I can only wonder if that was in response to it. But one thing that I was curious about, because he said obviously in the video that he dropped off Spider-Man after that, was I wonder what the numbers were like at the time, because back then obviously they were publishing the numbers, whereas very strangely now they don't. So
it's like it's all that conspiracy of silence. Oh no, we don't need to see the statistics anymore.
yeah,
Please, no look at numbers.
I mean, I made a list here, so I'm going to switch to the tab now. So can you see these numbers here?
Yes.
Right. So I decided to show these rather than read them out, because if I read out the numbers, we'd be here forever. But what you're seeing here is the 4 parts of the One More Day storyline, obviously start and finish here. And these are the sales numbers for each part, as you can see. So I wondered, well, what were the sales figures like after that? So I'm going to scroll down the list and you can see how they change. And if the numbers jump for a reason, I put the reason in brackets beside it. And if there's an asterisk next to that number, it means it's outside of the top 20, because they were publishing 2 to 3 Amazing Spider-Man issues a month for whatever reason. So those are the numbers there for the for the 4 parts of One More Day. And then it goes like this. So here we go.
Crash.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you get your bump here because it's a Venom story, and you got your first anti-Venom.
Even then, that bump starts dropping pretty quickly.
And then it carries on. Now, obviously, that one there because Obama was on the cover, but then carrying on. And I stopped just after 600 because variant covers and all forth got that one above it. And then obviously it just drops back down again. So yeah, I did it just showed that they did lose a lot of people after that. But then earlier on this year, we had the Ultimate Spider-Man series come to its conclusion, which was a shame. It finished at issue 24. And it was a very popular series because, for those who don't know, it's an alternative universe. But Peter Parker's older. Him and Mary Jane are married, and they have 2 kids. And then they decide to end the storyline with an ultimate end game story, like a where all the characters from this alternative universe get together, fight a bitter battle. But Peter Parker is killed by Carnage.
Yeah, can't have Peter Parker being happy.
Yeah.
Got to cuck him one way or the other.
Yeah. But what interested me about this scene here was the dialogue Carnage has, where he says, "It was always leading to this, Parker. I think deep down you knew that too." Now, I can't help but thinking that was fourth wall breaking dialogue, as if they're pointing the finger at the fans of said storyline. Maybe I'm being paranoid.
It's not a thing of, this is actually what you really wanted in the real main comic, isn't it? Well, fuck you.
Yeah. So that happened, and obviously a lot of people were not happy about that. But then we had this come about. Dan Slott was on social media, literally begging fans to buy.
Dan Sloot at it again.
Yeah. And he literally posted this in the video, appealing to readers to buy the comic, or it would be done by issue 5. And for a Spider-Man comic, that's not a great look.
Nope.
And I would have shown the video here, but it just seems to have disappeared everywhere.
Of course it has. He basically can't admit that he was sitting there basically on his knees begging, going, "Please buy my slop, please."
Yeah. Now, I would have forgotten about it, but I went into a comic shop a couple of weeks back, and the big thing now is everyone releases blank cover variants because they can take them to conventions and get a sketch done on the front. There was one behind the counter of the Brand New Day series, issue 1. And I said to the guy, out of interest, is that one selling really well? And he just looked at me and went, no. We have far less orders for that than we have any other Spider-Man comic in the shop. And I went, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if that wasn't enough, we then had a Spider-Man storyline come about where Aunt May has a son that she never knew about. Now, I'm struggling with this one because I'm pretty sure that any woman who's given birth would remember a child that they've had. I mean, am I wrong there or what?
Not to mention, any woman who's been pregnant would remember the fact that she was carting around and her belly was getting bigger for 9 fucking months. I
Yeah.
could get if she basically had some sort of like sickness or something that meant she didn't wasn't exactly alert from aware for the birth. But even then, you'd still be like, well, there's no baby, so baby died. So I know I had a baby. One way or another, baby must have died, and not just the whole, I was pregnant, I had a baby.
Yeah.
How do you explain the stretch marks in the episiotomy then?
Yeah. I saw that and I just went, nah, no way. You're not getting me with that one. So
No, and it's even just the way it's written is just like, yes, comics are meant to be out there with weird stories and stuff that just makes you go, what were you on when you're writing that? But even that.
yeah.
Yeah, but hang on. In defense, it was probably written by Dan Slott, and it's not like he's ever been near a woman.
Right. So on to one of the slightly larger stories. And this is one Peter brought to my attention. Dropgate, as it's now known. The variant cover price gouging on various Whatnot streams. I've become a lot cautious of buying anything from Whatnot, and there's only one guy whose stuff I buy, and that's actually my local comic shop guy, because he does a solid job with what he sells, and he actually does get some good stuff on there. But these variants, I mean, Peter, you know more about this than I do. I mean, what do you make of the whole thing?
Oh, it's a lot of giant bullshit because these ridiculous multitudes of alternate covers are already a load of bullshit. That these fuckers come along and go, oh yes, we've only got let's say 100 of this one. You want to get in there quick?
Mm-hmm.
Get your pre-orders in.
Gotta leverage that FOMO.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people go to a convention. It's like, so you just made me pay, let's say, $100 for that special. You're only going to get 100 or less of this particular cover, and now I'm seeing you with it at your table. There's 300 of them.
Yeah. Of course, dynamic pricing was involved with this whole thing, of course, implying rarity. And
that's the trick they were pulling. They're like, it's only going to be like tiny number of these. You better hurry up and pre-order them and pay us.
Yeah.
Well above market value to basically make sure you get yours. And then they were found out to have ridiculous, we're talking like a couple of hundred of these covers.
Yeah, because I remember. Sorry, finish. You carry on.
Yeah, and it's like, it's already fucking ridiculous when they're doing like 50 fucking variant covers, and then you have these fuckers coming in, winding people up who are still the absolute I gotta have it autists or just plain idiots, and tacking on ridiculous fees on top, plus pulling this FOMO shit, and these people finding out these covers aren't worth piss.
Yeah, because I remember there was one I watched where this guy was selling, I think it was like a chromium cover variant of an old Divine Right comic that Jim Lee drew. And he was saying, so I've got one of these. It's a very rare one. You want to get it? You want to get it? And then someone in the comments went, you said that last week about the one you sold then. And I just thought, I don't know about this. So I never went near it.
Yeah, it's reminding me of it's the millennial equivalent, younger equivalent of the guy on the shopping channel selling jewelry to old people going, look at this rare and beautiful thing. You must have it.
Yeah.
If you don't hurry up and get it right now, you're going to miss out. Better hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we had a couple of bits of news come out about various creatives in the field. The first one was from everyone's favorite, Rob Liefeld. He had been writing a tell-all memoir, but cancelled it after saying here some stories were too difficult to tell. He handed back his advance and apologized, and paraphrased Mick Jagger by saying, why would you look back when you can be in the now and looking forward? However, as I'm sure you guys are going to jump in on here, others believe it was that telling some of the stories he was going to potentially tell would have got him in a lot of trouble.
I was about to say his lawyers advised him that, some stories are too difficult to tell, aka you're going to get sued even if these are correct and are completely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much thinks of, yes, dude, you may be telling the 100% truth, but 100% truth doesn't save you from people who are very sue happy.
Yeah. And then the other one was, well, from someone we've spoken about before.
Just an aside there, like, again, I'm sure if Rob Liefeld was allowed to tell the truth, like, you'd get a lot of, I would actually trust him to tell the truth. I just think, he's had legal advice. He's had his lawyer go through it, and they've just gone, "Oh, you're going to get sued at the ass. It doesn't matter that it's true."
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that because I've just finished listening to an audiobook by Francis Foster from Trigonometry. He's talked about his time in teaching, and he's mentioned in one chapter this really difficult woman he had to work with, and he has to pause and say, the lawyer said, I can't say her name or else I'd get sued and be liable for legal costs. So he refers to her as Parsnip because she looked like one. But
Oh, look, again, you kind of want to pull Liefeld aside and say, look, you know what? We will give these people pseudonyms as like the man with the tiny penis, the other, because that was always a joke they used to get around libel laws.
Yeah.
Is a case of, oh no, that's my client. Oh, so your client does have a tiny penis.
I didn't know that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's an old story about the whole. Well, that this represent, this character is bears and a legally identifiable. People could say that this was my character. This was my client, and it was just like, oh, so. The author would imply that the character had a tiny penis. It was micro penis. It's like, you want to go, no one's going to go up in court and argue about that. Well, not unless you're Harvey Weinstein. I love it that it's a legal fact that he's got a micro penis. Oh no, Your Honor, I couldn't have possibly done that. Look at how small his penis is. But
So then to the other one, other creator, if you want to call him that. Neil Gaiman returned to the spotlight.
The pervert's back.
Yeah, claiming the sexual conduct allegations were a smear campaign.
You didn't deny them, Neil.
Yeah. So
that's not a no. That's not a no, Neil. Did you do the things? They're a smear campaign. Did you do the things, Neil?
It's kind of funny though. It's like so much for believable women, as a lot of these male feminists used to say.
Oh, again, that was always horseshit.
Yeah,
it was believable women until a certain, let's say, ethnic group gets accused. Then it's no, that couldn't have possibly happened.
Yeah, the judges involved in the cases against him they threw the cases out due to jurisdictional issues. That the primary.
So that's not a no, Neil. That's just a technicality.
Yeah, the one accused would need to pursue the case in New Zealand. So we'll see how that goes. But also, he revealed that during his time in exile, he's written another book. So look forward to seeing that at your nearest bookstore anytime soon. I'd love to see who publishes that. But speaking of stores, Dark Horse were in the news because they shuttered all locations after 46 years, including the flagship California store. This was after the company was bought by the Embracer Group, and the original founder, Mike Richardson, was forced out. Following this, the remaining staff decided to unionize, citing, and I quote, looming uncertainty from recent layoffs.
Well, you just guaranteed that, buddy.
Yeah, the new bosses said they would recognize the union, and they had reached out to the union's attorney to initiate the appropriate next steps in the process. Good luck.
Oh, it's
They're pretty
fucking-
much
it's- no,
firing them
Embracer
all.
Group. They are screwed.
Yeah.
For anyone who don't know, Embracer Group was formerly Nordic Games and THQ,
Mhm.
right? The games company that went,
I remember them.
but he tits up a couple of years ago. You've been bought out by the Borkborks. Yeah, good luck with that, guys. Yeah, Embracer Group does not have a good track record for running companies well. So
They are
I think
basically
they've bought them up. Yeah, I guarantee they've bought Dark Horse for the IP.
Yep.
And that's it. So they're going to wind down any physical operations, and the entire value of Dark Horse at this point is just that their IP catalog.
Mm.
which, to be frank, I think they've looked at it and haven't realized that a chunk of their IP is not actually theirs. It's just licenses they've been doing for basically in perpetuity for several decades now.
Mm.
That's been one of like Dark Horse's lifebloods, is their flexibility and their ability to pick up various IPs and make them work in comics and keep them selling long after said IP is sort of gone out of the general public.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And not to mention, Embracer Group are like the EA of comics or anything associated with other businesses, and that they come in and basically old yeller everyone and everything.
Mm. So yeah, that doesn't look promising.
It's good as dead.
Yeah.
The fact Embracer Group have them now, it's as good as dead. And all those people trying to unionize, good luck with that, buddies. You're all out of jobs regardless.
And the final story to talk about before we get on to the release, if you can call them that. Kickstarter walked back their ban on not safe for work content on the platform, which obviously it caused issues for a lot of creators on there who, well, for lack of a better term, like to put TNA content to sell their stuff.
And also,
Yeah,
that
I
also
imagine.
spicy
Yeah,
content.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're like,
Not full bore tits and ass, but just spicy.
yeah. See, the thing is, I'm like, this is either going to be the fact that Kickstarter's actually walked this back says this was an internal decision to begin with.
Yeah.
Because there's two things driving the crackdown on, risque content, as it were.
Mhm.
One is internal fat rainbow hairs, and two is MasterCard. Have the MasterCard CEO being a feminist simp.
Yeah.
So payment process, and again, anyone, I'll have this. I will fight anyone IRL on this. It's like, no, all this is being pushed from MasterCard, because companies are terrified of ending up on MasterCard blacklist 10, which is, we don't like you. We think you're bad for our brand, right? But if Kickstarter is able to walk this back, I'm curious, is because I read recently, it looks like MasterCard actually sort of clarified and sort of loosened their rules on risque content as well, because they started getting competition from the likes of the Japanese JCB, Japanese Central Bank,
Yeah.
going, well, fine, we'll just make our own payment processes with hentai and booba,
Yeah.
right?
And all the spicy fun stuff.
So, yeah, when was that? Yeah, I reckon that's looking at the date of that is suspiciously around the time that MasterCard sort of went, yeah, okay, maybe we're being a little too harsh.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's just them going, oh, we've walked it back, is them just going, oh, well, MasterCard loosened the rules, so we can too.
Mm. Right. So, as I said, we're doing things a little different with this stream because there really wasn't much to talk about this year. And sadly, that's really true, because a lot of these, how many have I got here? 2, 3, 4, 5 issues, 5 comics to talk about. Is there any passing mentions at best? I mean, before I jump into it, how has Comics World seemed to you guys from where you are?
It's dead. It's expired.
Oh, you remember about the Wonder Man coming up?
That's coming up.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's like, no. It was a big thing, when with the Marvel movies and everything else. Like, oh my God, we've gone mainstream, TM, and it's run the fad has run its course. And the industry got, has just been like, this has been always my contention for especially the DC and Marvel comics, right?
Yeah.
Is that, hey, these, and I agree with the Red Letter Media guys. A lot of these comics needed to end decades ago. You have done, at the moment, just the amount of contrivances to keep the world static as it is. What's the old line from the Ultron movie? It's like you want to save the world, but you don't want it to change.
Yeah.
Well, comics industry is the same. Oh, you want to have you want to save the comics industry, but you don't want to actually have new characters, right? They're just doing the same characters. It's just this static universe with just increasingly ridiculous contrivances to keep those characters there. I'm just like, well, no, that's not how it works, kids. You need to evolve stories.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to also put some characters to bed for a little while.
Yeah.
You need to. I would actually argue that the problem is they've done that so often now. I'm like, no, you need to say
no.
No,
They haven't really. No,
Yeah.
there's so many of them. They have not. All they've done is done alternatives, old alternatives. It's like, no, none of that. The character as a whole, and maybe a chunk of their universe, if not all of it, needs to be put to bed for a while. Work on some other things in the interim, and then come back to when you got stories worth knowing.
Yeah.
Which that's not going to happen anytime soon, because all these people don't have a creative bone in their entire fucking body.
Well, my argument for that is, again, a lot of these ones have been around for so long now.
Yep.
It's just like, well, what other permutations can you do? That's always been my other contention, is the permutations on, even if they put them to bed for 10, 20 years sort of thing, it's just like, well, you've already covered, that type of story, etc. Like, there's they're done. Like, you have milked that cow to the point there's nothing coming out anymore, right? You can't, creativity has its limits, right?
Right. So to get into, sorry, go on.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. You really want to make money? Reprint the old series that sold like gangbusters, but you won't do that because then you have to pay royalty to the people who wrote and created and drew them.
And that would be an express admission that the wokey shit is not popular, and the wokies won't have that.
Yeah, because I can guarantee you take a lot of old stuff. I'm talking all the way back to Dot, like when comics started. You offer that as a reprint, and people would be kicking the comic stores' doors down to get copies of those.
Yeah.
But they can't do that, because then it's admitting that what they're making right now is worthless.
Yeah. All right. So to go through those examples briefly, or as how long you want to spend on them. The first one to talk about was The World to Come, the final issue of the series. Why are we talking about this one? Well, it's 6 months late. Now, I suppose that's in part because Quesada does run Marvel Comics, and I guess he's obviously got a lot on his hands, but 6 months is a bit much.
He runs it for now.
And of course, this was a quote-unquote controversial series because of the new white Black Panther. But yet, as we discussed the last time, I know nobody that talked about this. Do you? And the story is good, and the art is fantastic, because Joe Quesada is a fantastic penciler. But I've heard nobody talk about this.
No one has. No one cares.
No.
So,
and it's a case of, yes, he may be a great, excellent artist. He's terrible at everything fucking else.
Right, and then on to the next one. The Hush 2 storyline of Batman. Again, this is massively late as well. They were supposed to have done 6 issues last year, taken a break, and then 6 issues this year. But it has been heavily delayed. But of course, Jim Lee has had health issues, which I do sympathize with. And I have been reading it because I did like the first Hush storyline. But my complaint is not with Jim Lee's art, because it is fantastic. The story is crap.
As it always is.
So when I picked up the last issue, which was issue 6, of this story, I said to my local comic, I drop it because it's crap, it's boring. I'll pick up something else in its place instead. And he said, okay, fair enough. So yeah, disappointing.
That's always the case with these things. Like you can have, I've said in the past with other things, you can have piss poor art. You can have absolute make you tear up, glorious art.
Hmm.
But if the story ain't there, it's like you will not stick with it, even if you think the art is the most glorious thing your eyes ever beheld.
Yeah.
If the story's crap, the characters are one note or even really pretentious and just extremely unlikable, and there's no redeeming values to them in said
Yeah.
unlikability, you will not be able to keep going. You will not be able to force yourself to keep spending money on something that, despite being beautiful, whoever is writing it clearly hates you.
Mm.
Same as you can have, I've got some in my collection of like one-offs and that from Dark Horse with some AVP and Predator comics that the art's a bit nah or pretty nah, but the story and the way it's written are why I bought it and read it all the way through and still occasionally read them.
Yeah. And on to the next one. This one was a little bit controversial, but I didn't agree. Transformers, the Image comic series, is ongoing, but Prime has been replaced as the leader with
Girl boss.
Yeah.
Yay,
Now-
girl boss. That's just what everyone wants, is another girl boss.
Now, everyone got their knickers in a tizzy over this, but I'm sitting there thinking, hold on, just chill for this one, because the character of Alita, she's brash, she's very unlikable, she's very hot-headed, and it strikes me that Prime gave up the Matrix to make a point, so I didn't say anything about it, because it's a case of, you know what, let the story go, and he'll be Prime again. Because I remember when Wolverine obviously lost his adamantium, he eventually got it back. I think it'll be something similar will happen here. So that's why
I'll give these writers a chance because they're not absolute twats like everyone else is of late.
No.
They're actually trying to do story good. And to be frank, I could see Optimus doing something like that just to make the point of, yes, you think you want this, but you really, really don't until you've basically got a full taste of exactly what it is like to deal with this thing.
Mm,
And all the shit that comes with it, aside from the extra power and all the strength and all the knowledge that comes with it, yeah, there's lots of drawbacks.
yeah. So then to the next story, and this one did get a reaction from people. Mask has been relaunched through Skybound as part of the Energon universe, but it carries on the trend of Matt Tracker being black, as opposed to when he was originally white. The first time the race swap happened was through IDW. But what most people forget is that series was cancelled after 11 issues. So, I mean, this revolves back to that quote I remember seeing that guy making where he said, if you want to introduce more diverse characters, you change what's come before, you'll make faster progress that way. And this, yeah, I just remember. Yeah, I know. I would pull up the, the guy I'm talking about, because it made the rounds at the time. But there was a lot of passionate debates about this, because again, that's not Matt Tracker. But again, I just decided, I'm ignoring this, and I haven't bought it.
It wasn't so much of debate as lecturing, and everyone's just like, anyone is like, nah. Like,
Track
debate
record
is
says
being very
no.
charitable.
And current track record of everything that's done that currently says, no, it doesn't work.
Mm.
And if it does, it's an extreme rarity because it's not about the character suddenly being race swapped. It's about the character still staying the character despite the person playing them being a race swap.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then on to the final one. And the headline of this story, I think, puts everyone in their place who's a critic of this. The transgender Wonder Woman is unveiled, and she's perfect.
Ugh, cringe.
Yeah.
No, still a dude. Even though they've drawn it. Like, no, I can still see the Adam's apple. That's a dude.
No, that is actually Wonder Woman. It's a new character, but even then, they're taking the mantle of Wonder Woman from Diana.
Yeah. I mean, there's no picture that I can see that could be the new one.
That scroll back up. That on the person on the horse, that's him. Notice how they've drawn them So you wouldn't know that they were a man.
That,
Well, not unless you got the lasso of truth and just ask them, "Are you a man or a woman?"
It's funny how every time they draw them exactly like you would an idealized woman,
yeah,
while also saying in the same breath, "This is a man."
yeah.
No, you've just slapped on the whole. That's you've done the whole thing of the Troon thing of you've made an idealized woman, then claiming it that they're trans.
Hmm.
And sorry, honey, in real life, that don't work. You don't look like a perfect woman. Your shoulders are too big. Your hands are too big. Yet even if you shave your Adam's apple off, your neck's too thick. Your hands are too large. Your feet are too large. Your facial proportions are all wrong. Everyone knows.
Yeah. So, like I said, we
Honey, be fair, we have to support Balrog representation in comics.
So...
I had to explain the Balrog joke to someone recently, and it was very funny.
Peter had to explain it to me, and when she referred to one such individual as Balrog, I went, "You what?" And she said the whole thing. I went, I see.
For those who don't follow, Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Balrog, you shall
What do
not pass.
Yes, but do Balrogs? Yes, Balrog shall not pass.
Yeah. Right, so as I said at the start of the stream, the more interesting stuff this year came out from crowdfunding. There was a lot of good stuff, but there was some not so good stuff, but we'll cover that. And the first one is from someone whose work we're all familiar with, and that's, of course, Mary Boys, All Stitched Up Part 1, from my man Carl and his wife Monica. I backed the previous ones, and they were fucking brilliant. As you can see from this little bit here, I'm a backer. And against the
I like this style because this reminds me of the old irreverent, 2000 AD type stuff.
Yep.
Right, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. It's like we have it in the shelf if you want to read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And against the £500 goal, it's raised, as you can see, 5,298. Fair play to him. Like I said, I loved the first Mary Boys, and I'm looking forward to this one because I know it's going to be a good read. And then we have Terror in the Trenches Part 2 from, of course, Von Klaus. Now, this one was a slightly heftier goal at $5,000, but at the time of this stream, because it's in demand, I believe, it's $8,176. I watched this one climb to its goal, and again, respect to Von Klaus, but I did notice that it took a lot longer than usual to reach said goal, and I can't help but wonder if people are suffering from the same thing that I went through, whereas I'm very reluctant to back a lot of these now because I just don't trust some people.
It is
not that I'm saying
because-
that about Von Klaus, I should point out.
I know, but it is because people have been burnt so many times.
Yep.
And all that's like, especially in the early rush that's still going on, that's like there's some comics from back then that still haven't been fulfilled.
Yeah, well, they'll be coming up later. So yeah, that one came out, and again, fair play to Von Klaus. But then we had the second Cyberforce collection hardcover. I got hold of the first one off of eBay because I missed the first one when it was kickstarted, and against the goal of $30,000, it's made $153,876. Now, what I noticed about this one is it's a lot cheaper than I expected. They're all hardcover books as standard. There's no softcover option, and they come with an exclusive dust jacket and a book plate signed by Mark Silvestri. Even the postage for this wasn't as bad as what I expected it to be, because hardcovers being sent across the ocean will sting your fucking wallet. But I look forward to this one because I do love the old 90s comics.
And this is my point of you give people an option to have reprint the old stuff in a format where it makes it easier for them to get.
Yeah.
They'll basically go, yes, please. I will give you money for this.
Yeah, and Cyberforce did have its fans, and I remember them fondly, like I said. All right, and on to the next one. friend of the show, Josh Howard. He did a crossover with Dan Mendoza's Zombie Tramp. Against the goal of $5,000, it's raised 34,997. Brilliant.
Again,
Yeah,
like I said, it's cute art style. Again, doing
But-
good work.
yeah, but I should point out I had backed the reboot of Dead at 17 and also the trade paperbacks he did for the re-release, of T-Bird and Throttle, and I got them all on time.
Mm.
Because unlike some of the creators out there, Josh, whilst he does have his opinions, and I have no problem with that, he sticks to the job and he gets it done.
Professional.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the trick. It's a case of
Professionals have standards.
yeah, you can have people that you don't necessarily agree with on everything or anything, but as long as they're professional with what they're actually developing as a product, then you can let that sit.
yeah,
As long as they're not leaking said problems into their product.
yeah. So respect to Josh on that one, and I look forward to reading this. And then you've got the Painkiller Jane Uncovered 30th anniversary celebration from friend of the show, Jimmy Palmiotti. I love saying that. Against a goal of $24,000, he raised $48,955. So this is a range of cover art celebrating the character, because I do love Painkiller Jane. And again, this one, I backed it and I got it on time. And I cannot moan about that. And it's a great book, and the print quality alone is fantastic. So I know that Palmiotti, along with Josh Howard, I will back their stuff on Kickstarter because I know I'm going to get something good.
And they've also got a proven track record of
Yep.
actually being professional and ensuring they get their shit done on time.
Yeah.
So I'm betting they've already backloaded all these things to make sure that once they're putting it out there saying, hey, I've got this upcoming,
Mm-hmm.
it's already locked and pretty much borderline or is locked and loaded and ready to go to print. It's just a matter of how many people actually want this.
Mm-hmm. So the next one is, I think, the only one that we're going to talk about that is still actively raising money, and that is the Aria Omnibus. Now, this was, as you can see, funded in 30 minutes against a goal of $10,000, although it shows it in pounds because obviously I backed this one in the UK. It so far has raised 126,350. Oh no, it's more now. $142,055. Now I remember when this came out, when I was collecting comics at the time, and the artwork alone was absolutely gorgeous, and the urban fantasy setting was beautifully shown. And at first, I wasn't sure if I'd back this or not, but then I took a look at the omnibus, and here it is. That's what they're going to do. And obviously, as you can see now, all copies will come signed by Brian Haviland and Jay Anacleto. This is not as expensive as I expected it to be postage-wise. I'm not sure why, but yeah, this one hooked me as soon as I saw it.
I think some of these have potentially made deals with just like postal distributors to keep their costs down.
Yeah, I can respect that, because the next one we're going to talk about, I don't think they did. And that is the G.I. Joe compendium sets. Now, on a goal of 40,000, they've raised $2,890,251. I did consider this because I like the G.I. Joe comics, because it's all the old Marvel stuff they're collecting. But the problem for me was that these are the sets here. I would have wanted to do the hardcovers, but to have all these hardcovers shipped to me, I knew would have absolutely murdered my wallet.
Yeah.
So I thought, no thanks, I'm not going to do that. But then my local comic shop got the soft covers of the Transformers compendiums that Image Skybound did, and I have to say the print quality was crap. it was like holding an old school phone book. If for those kids who are listening to this who actually know what a phone book is.
I remember in the before times.
They didn't even go.
Think something
newsprint.
that's slightly above tissue paper.
Yeah. And I looked at it and thought, you know what? I think I'm not going to bother with these. And sure enough, I've seen the hardcovers of the Transformers companions on eBay. Again, ridiculous prices. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this is a catch-22 with the whole. Yes, people want the old stuff, but you still need to give it to them at standard quality for the time, which even back then was at least newsprint at worst,
mhm.
and still have to try and keep it at a reasonable price, even if you're giving, like this case, like 300 issues all crammed into one thing.
Mhm.
You still have to be mindful of your price and make sure your quality of print is meeting that, like, rather chunky price.
Yeah.
And when it comes to postage stuff, it's like, unfortunately, like I said, that guy may have, like, the previous one, it's like he may have managed to wrangle some deals with someone who's doing the distribution for them.
Yeah.
But sometimes, even with that, it's like, unfortunately, international shipping and whatnot right now, and for a while now, has been absolute arse. So even if people do, like, make every deal and discount and everything under the sun, if it's something heavy and chunky like that, it's unfortunately going to cost you an arm and a leg, even if these people wrangle every single sort of buddy
do their
deal and
best,
everything they
yep.
can make.
Yeah. So that leads me to the last ones to talk about. And these ones are the bad ones to talk about. And the first one is the Terminator 40th Anniversary Graphic Novel Collections. I'm a backer of this, and this project is almost 2 years late. The campaign has been run dreadfully by Dynamic Entertainment. And the only reason I have not refunded these books, well, two reasons. First of all, I'm a massive Terminator fan, so I wanted these because I backed the hardcovers. But also the second reason, I don't know what you make of this, but I actually forgot that I backed them.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting old, dude. I understand.
Well, you know, we all are,
Football.
unfortunately. But the main reason I forgot was because it had been so long since
I
we
think
got.
maybe they're counting on that at this point.
Yeah, I think.
It's like, what
Yeah,
about the thing?
right?
That. Wow, someone remembered.
Yeah. To be frank, at this point, considering these are just reprints, these
Yep.
are not a whole new thing, I would be basically going, charge back on that and cancel out my order, because there is no
Yeah.
excuse for
How do you
taking
fuck
this
that up?
long for reprints.
Yeah.
And even if you had a case of, oh, well, our original printer went tits up, we've had to find somebody else and whatnot, it's like 2 years. It does
Yeah.
not take that long to fulfill however many copies they were doing of this.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, if you look down a bit, you see estimated ship by this date here. Now, I saw that and I went, bullshit, that was changed because it didn't say that originally. But I got wound up with them. It was either last month or the month before, where we were supposed to get an email advising when they would take the postage payment out of our accounts. Now, I woke up on a Monday morning to find that they sent me an email saying, "Yeah, we've taken the postage out of your account." And I went, "You
sent you an email going yoink."
yeah," and I went, "You fucking what?" And sure enough, they had, and it nearly stitched me up had I not got a quick injection of cash to cover the last of the bills. But
and that
Yeah,
would be
I
my
saw
instantaneous-
that. Like, you tried to hide the Fansly, dude, but you know, some of the fanfics for comics, we really need to talk about that offline.
No, that kind of shit is my instantaneous. No, refund me everything right
Yeah.
fucking now.
but
You
like,
don't just get to yoink money and then go, hey, yeah, we yoinked the money. Like, no, you're meant to give me a lead-in email to say, oh, we'll be taking like this, like the postage on X day, and it'll be X amount. Do you agree?
yeah, I don't. Like
And
I
put it
said,
to you to say, pay it by this day, otherwise we'll cancel your order.
yeah, but like I said, the email just said, "Yeah, we've taken the payment." And I was like, "For fuck's sake!"
Yeah,
So,
no.
The only
no.
only
For me, it's
reason,
like,
like I
no,
said,
you're not one of my banks. You're not someone I owe bills to as far as like electricity and whatnot. That like you do not get to just yoink money
yeah.
out of the blue and then tell me after the fact. No.
So yeah, like I said, I still want these though because I'm a massive fan
You're
of
not
the
getting
old
'em.
school
Simp.
Dark Horse.
Simp.
Dark Horse
I know,
comics.
I get it, but
Yeah,
at
we
this
get
point,
it,
you're not
yeah.
getting them.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
And
Just
also,
yet.
it's like I'm betting at this point, even if you did get them, you're going to find the quality is going to be absolute dog shit.
yeah. So my fondness is going to kill me, I fear, but I'm just determined to see this one through because I want these.
You're not gonna get them.
All right.
And if you do
I
get
said
them,
end of the year. When the end of the year stream, we'll make a point just going, right, did you get them? Huh?
Right.
I guess the answer is going to be no.
And then on to this next one, which we have spoken about previously. Gem Shock by Mandy Summers.
Mm-hmm.
So we got another update at the end of last month. More fulfillment information. And as you can see, she's got bags of the stuff she's sending out.
Yeah.
Now, okay, great. But I've still not received mine.
Yeah, it's like, that's
And-
nice, sweet, but where's the rest?
Yeah. And
'Cause that's not very much.
I mean, I've asked for refunds and been ignored.
Yep.
So
That's a sign.
yeah. So I mean, Summers, she's just such a disappointment. And I get she's got her fans and she'll have her hardcore fans. You know what? Good luck to you. I really hope you actually get your books when you back them.
Mm.
But this was
Not
one of
to
the many
mention-
cases, lesson learned.
Not to mention, I've seen her spruiking other campaigns. I'm like, honey, you haven't even finished this one.
Yeah. And then finally, and again, we talked about this before, Deep Well, The Caliber of Death. Now, why am I talking about this one? Well, Mike Murphy posted an update, and it was back in November, December of last year, which initially I ignored, but then I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to talk about this one because I just saw it and thought, bullshit. So I'll start it off here. 8th of November, my mother took a really bad fall, and my family have all been dealing with dozens of issues since. Extremely busy, and everything else had to go on hold. So what? Right, and just fast forward a bit. Right now, I have to focus on my family. I expect things will calm down a bit sometime in January, and I can split my focus back on the work. Right now, however, I'm going to need some extra time. The books are not available where you'll hopefully get them digitally. I don't want them fucking digitally. But again, I've long written this one off, and I've no doubt that when I do get it, I'll probably just chuck it in the fucking bin.
If you ever get it.
Yeah, and I'll go on a slight tangent here and say, frankly, I do appreciate that to some, this may sound like I'm being horrible, but I'm long past the point of giving a shit because I've noticed a few times now creators claiming health issues to get basically to explain lateness and, in my mind, get people to back off. And I just don't believe it anymore.
No.
There was one book I backed on Kickstarter. It was an art book. I won't say the creator's name to be slightly nice, but that individual claimed health issues and I didn't believe it. And I requested a refund because it was over a year late. And I got my money back, but not without them taking one more parting shot at me in the comments, to which I couldn't respond because I was no longer a backer. But no, I'm long past done with these late books and where they say, yeah, health issues, because I just don't believe them anymore.
No, and also it's at this point it's a case of, okay, if your health issues and other problems are this bad, you just basically need to cancel out the campaign, send all the money back, and retry once you're better and you've actually got your shit like 90% done at minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, health
And if you
issues.
can't do that.
I treat health issues the same as, if you're calling into Skive off work, you just say, oh, yeah, I've got really bad food poisoning and diarrhea, because no one really wants the details, right? They're like, oh, health issues. Again, it's a manipulation tactic. I don't like it. I agree. I'm like, oh, yeah. And the thing is, I get that. I'm like, yeah, I've known people, like I've worked with people who had, cancer and the rest of it, who were actively going through chemotherapy, who would still try and do the work. Like they'd still come into work, right? And that's the opposite end of the scale. But I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Health issues, etc. I'm married to someone who had severe health issues for a very long time. Maybe you know her, honey, who still managed to get work done. So again, we've lived that experience. Not
mention
buying it.
Yeah, not to mention, I always stress to people when they came to me for stuff that yes, I've got health issues, and things may take a while, and this is why I won't take upfront payment on stuff until I make sure I've got something there. Then I will take payment to finish it.
Mm.
Because yes, shit
That's
happens
great.
with me.
Yeah. So you can
And-
turn around and say, "Hey guys, it's going to get done." It can't be time sensitive. It's done when it's done, right?
But shit like that, you cannot pull that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a case of, okay, yes, I know shit happens in life, sickness happens, whatnot.
Yeah,
But there's a
but
line
notice-
where you basically have to go, okay, I'm having such problems. I'm going to have to call it on this project for now. Here's the backup. Like, should have put that money in escrow, which I know they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And basically gone, yeah, shit's happened. I'm not getting any better, or stuff's just piling up. I'm not going to be able to make this in time. So for the interim, I'm going to basically send the money back and basically go, put a pin in this, and I'll contact you again once I'm better. And this is pretty much as done as I can get it. Then I'll put back in funding and put it out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the other thing. For those who claim, "Oh, it's delayed, but I'm working on it," note the complete lack of progress shots.
Mm.
No proof. Again, like, prove it. Show us some progress shots. Show us some rough, pencil chits. Basically show us you're not lying. And you with the ones that are bad actors, you'll just get nothing but radio silence.
And even I've done that with people who just sort of done a check-in. It's just like, yeah, I have tried. Here's where I'm up to. As you can see, it's like maybe only like quarter done or something, or still is the scrap out sketch stage. But I have actually touched it.
Mm. So the final question then before we sign off on this stream. From my perspective, there's nothing coming out that grabs my attention from the mainstream comic side of things. It's all pretty standard stuff. And I find myself watching.
Yeah, but dude, I have a solution for this problem. The solution begins with an M.
Yeah, I'm about to get to that. And I find myself watching crowdfunded things more often because, again, with examples like that Aria hardcover, that grabs my attention more. Now, with regards to the Magic M, I am actually collecting the old volumes of Black Lagoon because I want to read that to its conclusion. Now, obviously, I appreciate you guys don't do much in the way of crowdfunding because the postage costs and dollar-a-do conversions. But what's your take on the whole thing?
Crowdfunding was, again, for me, crowdfunding is much in the same realm as like unions and other things. I love the idea of it, and in a perfect world, it would work fantastically, and totally support. Unfortunately, the controls are not there. Right. Yeah. And again, when Kickstarter and GoFundMe, etc. started, they always had this, we will do the quality control. If they don't fulfill the thing, we will punish them. Well, that's fallen through.
Yeah.
Right. Because, the problem is you have a conflict of incentives, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. For
those companies, it's like, well, if you start enforcing bad behavior, you get less money. So then there's the sort of let's just lighten up, and lo and behold, it sort of drifts into we're not gonna bully the bad actors. We're not gonna spend the money on the overhead to sort of quality control all this shit. We just want our percentage and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if these platforms were to somehow fix that non-deliverable quality control issue reliably and keep it fixed, yeah, I'd support it. But without the controls, this is always just going to be a trust me, bro platform. And yeah, some people are worthy of trust and some people are not. And you just have to find out who's who the hard way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, what they need to do is go back to what Indiegogo originally did, was a case of, your campaign's finished. You're going to get meted out the money. You're not going to get it in one big lump sum.
Mm.
And you have to start proving to us that you're actually fulfilling, and then we'll give you the rest. And that was their initial thing of controlling to make sure people weren't just going to, my campaign's done, money please, and then scarpering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they at least had that bit of a push on them. It's a case of, we'll meter it out in chunks, I think like quarter chunks. And that sort of seemed to help initially with forcing these people to actually constantly prove they're actually doing something. And then they tossed that out the window, tossed out the whole, you have to show us proof you're working on shit. Or we come sniffing and going, okay, where is it?
Yeah, and again, in project management, they have that. It's just like, yeah, you're not getting all your budget up front. You have to hit certain milestones before additional budget's released,
Yeah.
right? So again, the fact that they don't have this milestone management, it's now just well, we don't care what happens to our consumer base, money please. So yeah, that's the thing. If a platform fixes and keeps those quality controls, more than happy to, because again, you've got a certain level of trust. You can say, well, if they're behaving like a bad actor, great. My money's going to get refunded. I'm not rewarding, bad behavior. And it will filter. So those that deliver will, get supported, and those that don't won't. But at the moment, you said it's a crapshoot. So this is going to be the problem. Is it makes it harder for people who are trying to sort of do their first one, because everyone's just going to be like, this is your first one. We are suspicious, right? But again, like you've said, you've got ones that have been a proven track record, and even those that are a little bit quote unquote late, at least they have good communication saying, okay, yeah, issues arise, but here's proof of life. Hey, I'm not making excuses. I can prove that I'm still working on it. Here's, bits and pieces, and they deliver. Or, they deliver on time and they deliver a quality product. So, it's just going to be a case of this is now going to move to a reputation-based system. So reputation-based systems, unfortunately, they make it hard for newbies to come in, and that's unfortunate. We'd like to see more and more newbies come in, but if you're a newbie listening to this and thinking about it, if you run your mum and your cat get run over by the same bus. Again, shit happens, life happens, but as long as you communicate properly, saying, yes, shit's happened, here's proof, here's I'm still working on it, the audience will be forgiving. If you just do this kicking the can down the road radio silence bullshit of, oh, it's coming, it's totally coming, it's arriving the same time Godot will, you're going to get a one and done, right? And people shouldn't trust you.
Even if you get that one and done, even if you get it done.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate fact of things. It's a gamble on both sides' part.
Yeah.
With this stuff.
Have either of you two been into a comic shop lately?
There are none.
Oh no, well, that's the thing. We have I've stuck my head down. There's one big one down in Melbourne, Minotaur, and I've stuck my head in there.
I mean, in general, Minotaur aren't a comic store as such. They're
a pop culture store. Right? Yeah. So
there are no comic stores as such.
Well, hang on. Let me discuss the Minotaur thing. So Minotaur used to be in the basement of one of the buildings, and it was massive.
Yeah.
Right. Even it's moved to another location, and it is about half to a third of what it used to be. And even in terms of comics, that's maybe 20% of what it used to be. The rest of it's just like, it's not comics, it's manga, Funko Pops, etc. Right? But yeah, that's the thing is manga's eating. This is the thing. The Western comic mob is just going to continue because people are like, the problem is now people have broken the habit and they're going, hey, wait, manga exists.
Yeah.
And, you've got a massive library of decades and decades of manga that are, you're interested in anything, there'll be a manga about it. Usually with, cute girls doing the thing. But the point is that manga, it doesn't matter what your niche interest is, that manga series probably exists. So more and more, again, look, I think end of year stream, like if we're going to discuss comics, we need to include manga stuff.
I think aren't we?
Yeah, it's like Western comics is more or less just dead now.
Yeah.
Right? It's zombieing along on life support, but there's nothing new. Some of the crowdfunding stuff, there's some diamonds in the rough, some new and innovative stuff coming out, and they're going to have its niche. But from the West, like the mainstream side of things, no, it's just IP factories now, because the problem is DC's now owned by, I think that after the Paramount deal, you've got them, owned by Larry Ellison and co.
Yeah.
Disney owns pretty much everything else. And they're like, no, we have the IP. We don't want new and innovative stuff. There's a real risk aversion. They want stuff that they know makes profit, maximum profit, minimum effort. Well, they're just going to milk those Western comic cows until they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've lost Dark Horse. That's just going to get even worse, because Dark Horse, as much as they were basically running off other IP, they still had their own independent stuff that was perfectly successful on its own.
Mm.
That's all going to die now. And they also were willing to give a lot of people at least one go. I was like, present us to us your comic idea and your comic thing. It's like, we'll give it at least a go. And maybe 2 or 3 issues. And if we're not really getting any good response back, then we're like, thanks, but no thanks. That's not going to exist anymore.
Oh, I think that'd be a good place to leave it for now. Hopefully we have some more decent happenings in the industry, but otherwise, well, not sure we'll have a part 2 of the comic stream at the end of the year.
Well, again, this is the kind of thing the industry needs to burn. Like the rickety old forest needs to burn. Like the industry has to completely. At this point, you're going to have to completely rebuild it from the ground up, and we're not anywhere near that point where they can even start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Right now that Disney owns half the mainstream comics industry and Paramount owns the other half, then you're pretty much going to have to build an entire industry from scratch, and I think that's a generational thing. Right, so I don't think we're going to see that, and possibly not even see that in our lifetime, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's also a secondary effect of the time to get new readers was the time of the early Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Before Endgame, when there were literally people going, "Oh, I really like these characters. Oh, they're a comic thing. Oh, where can I get these comics? I want to read more." And when these people would walk in and basically go, "Oh," I'll say, "Oh, I've heard this Iron Man character is great. Can you show me where the Iron Man comics are?" And they walk up to the shelves, pick one up, have a flip, and like,
And it's
fuck is
Iron
this?
Heart. Yeah. It's
or
sassy
even
black
that, it's like,
teenager.
who the fuck is this? This is not what I just watched on the screen. This character's shit. This comic is boring. Ugh. Puts it back on the shelf, walks out, never comes back.
No, honey. What they do is they walk past the manga section and go, "Ooh, that looks interesting," and then they just disappear into the manga section.
Or even then at that point with Minotaur, where Minotaur originally were, they like for over the years I watched it go from they had one single-sided shelf stuff with manga top to bottom to getting a shelf behind it stuff full of manga to having 4 shelves stuff with manga. Now in their current location,
It just exponentially grew.
Yeah, now I think the current case,
doubled every year. It doubled.
Yeah, it's like 8 shelves now, stuff like absolutely crammed top to bottom to the point you have to sort of pry one of the mangas out because they're so tightly stuffed in there. And versus the comic section, which is shrunk and shrunk and shrunk to now it's mostly just like very, very tiny few like actual floppies, and the rest of a lot is just collections, like in hard covers or paper or soft covers.
All right, I think we'll leave that there for now then. And like I said, hopefully we get a part 2 of the comic stream later on in the year, but well, we'll see what happens. But for now, cheers for everyone who dropped by to listen, and we'll see you all later on in the year. But we'll be back next week for the movies and TV stream, and we're gonna have some fun with that one. All right.